The following content is not intended as a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Always seek the advice of your physician or other qualified health provider with any questions you may have regarding a medical condition. You're listening to the Everyday Therapy Podcast. I'm JC Rader.
And I'm Julianne Schroeder.
And we're therapists bringing you honest conversations around emotional wellness and self-development.
Inspired by our personal experiences in therapy and because of our clients, we realize therapy has so much to offer both on and off the couch. Listen for tips and tools to navigate all the challenges that life throws your way.
To give us feedback on topics and guests, or for more information on our community events, counseling, or online services, contact us at everydaytherapypodcast.com.
And we are with White Rock Counseling, located here in East Dallas, but also offering online services and individual therapeutic yoga. We both have a variety of specialties all listed on our website, whiterockcounseling.com. So yeah, feel free to reach out. We like to think that we're pretty approachable and really just wanting to help you in the ways that you deserve. And so if we can't help you, we'll try to get you connected to those that can.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, let's jump into our topic for today, routines.
Yeah, routines for mental health.
How boring.
I know. I'm like, well, can we spice this up? What does that say about me?
Point,
yeah.
Right? We're trying not to spice things up.
Yeah. Isn't it those that actually need routines the most are the ones that resist it?
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I noticed, and I heard this from a friend, and I was like, oh, me too. In grad school, she noticed every morning it was just chaos and trying to pick out her outfit. And she tried to have a routine and pick out her clothes. It was Kara Guziak.
Oh, I love Kara.
Yeah.
Shout out Kara.
Yeah. We love you. She's a counselor here in Dallas. But yeah, and she said she was trying to plan her outfits every day, and she noticed she was attracted to the chaos and the drama. And so having to fight that a little bit too. So jumping into routines and habits and rituals, they're all kind of similar in different ways. But first, let's talk about why are routines hard for people, and what is the downfall of having a routine? It's interesting to think of it in that way.
Yeah, because I think it's widespread knowledge that they're helpful, yet people find it hard to stick with.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think one aspect that makes it hard is thinking about nature versus nurture, right? Certain personality types, it's just not at their core to have something routine, something standard, the same thing every day.
And those personality types being?
Yeah. I don't know, maybe the more creative people, artistic people, those that, kind of just like to be spontaneous. Thinking of Enneagram types, you know, maybe the 4s of the Enneagram, the 7s, which is interesting because I feel like Courtney, our friend, who's a 7 on the Enneagram, she has some pretty good routines, but maybe a healthy 7.
Yeah. So take this all with a grain of salt.
Yes.
Is what we're saying.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Well, and I think too, those that maybe have been at some point in their lives where there was a lot of rules and routines that were impressed upon them, that there might be a period of kind of just completely letting go. Rebelling against.
That's so true. Because I was thinking the opposite of I wasn't really taught routines growing up. So that just wasn't a skill, like that nurture piece that I, had. Like I've had to like develop that on my own. But yeah, absolutely. If you had too much of that, like wanting to reject that
Yeah.
in a way. Which one do you feel like was instilled in your family, or was it balanced?
I think it was pretty balanced. Perhaps at times I took things too far, and just my personality type went to the extreme with ritual and routine.
Yeah.
And then that created more stress and anxiety.
For sure. Yeah, I did want to address that this podcast is probably more for people who struggle with routine, because there are those personality types, like people on the spectrum of OCD, being obsessive compulsive, to where there's too much rigidity. And so definitely we're talking to those people that like, yeah, maybe need a little more help with routine, or seeing like the benefits of it all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or if you want an ego boost, like, because we all need that at
Yeah,
times, and
yeah.
you're really good at routines and just want to listen to what you're doing right
Yeah,
and how
yeah,
it's
there we
helpful
go.
to you, yeah, by all means, go ahead, keep listening.
For sure. Yeah. But yeah, I think some of the research that I was doing before this podcast was finding that there is some proof that people without routine have sleep problems, sleep issues, and make poor choices like throughout the day for like food, or just time management, productivity, that sort of thing. So
Yeah, and higher stress levels, one can
yes,
assume.
yeah.
Yeah. And just emotional regulation, or the ability to kind of keep more calm, probably is more challenged.
Yeah, and not to say, it can be the end all be all to anxiety and depression or mental
Yeah.
health, but it's definitely an aspect that can be a game changer for that as well. So that's pretty cool, because it's something behavioral that you can do. It's a skill that you can learn how to create routine. So, okay, and then some of the research that I did of like finding the benefits of routine, ritual, going back to sleeping, so you have better sleep. So the National Sleep Foundation talks about your circadian rhythm. So if you have this rhythm of sleep, like I go to bed at 10 every night and I wake up at 6 every morning, then your body just kind of knows those things. So yeah, having that routine can be super helpful if you are having sleep problems, or just maintaining sleep hygiene.
For sure. I had a yoga student in class, and I saw her the day after when we turned our clocks back.
Yeah.
Daylight savings times. Okay, yeah, that's what it's called.
What is that term?
Yeah, and I was like, "Did you enjoy your extra hour of sleep?" She's like, "No, my body was so fine tuned that it was up and at them." And I was like, well, in those situations, like when you're on vacation, maybe that could be annoying. But
Yeah.
for the most part, I know that I envy that. I think I have to work really hard to keep my sleep a little bit more routine.
Yeah. Well, and with me, like I've been struggling with sleep for maybe the past few years, in denial for maybe 2 years, and then really accepted it the past year. And yeah, behavioral changes for my sleep has like totally shifted. And it's not like I can sleep for 8 hours and like not wake up, but yeah, like having my little routines, which we'll get into our routines later, have just been super amazing and helpful.
Yeah. Did the National Sleep Foundation recommend implementing a routine in a time sort of like, 1 hour before bed or 2 hours before bed?
Not that I've read, but I mean, just speaking of personal experience, like, yeah, for sure. Because you like thinking about like your body and your nervous system needing to wind down and doing like your more active stuff at the beginning of the evening, and then kind of winding down from that. And I mean, it just makes sense that you would feel like more relaxed and like sleep better, for sure.
Yeah. Something that I always share with clients that was shared with me from a sleep researcher was that you really want to train your body that by the time it lands in bed, like both your mind and body are receptive to that being a relaxed state. And so like you really have to prime it, and it's
Yeah.
like, association.
For sure. For sure. Yeah, I've really worked on like not doing anything else in my bed.
Not even your phone?
Yeah.
What?
I know. I mean, it's not 100% all the time, I'm going to say. But yeah, I don't even sleep with my phone in my room anymore. Because it's such habit,
Yeah.
or it was for me. So creating that space, and that's kind of, going into like a ritual of like that kind of being sacred, just for sleep. So
That's
yeah.
impressive.
So better sleep. So with a
Yeah.
routine, and this is like your daily routine,
Yeah.
your weekly routine, your circadian rhythm, like sleep routine, like all of that. So, and I kind of like in my head, like I break down routines as like, for me, I have a morning routine, a night routine, of a sleep routine. Like you can have routines around everything. Like, do you want or need that like around everything in your life? Absolutely not. But like maybe pick and choose a few things. I have my daily routine and then weekly.
Work routine.
Yeah.
I have always little rituals going into the office and leaving office too.
Yeah.
So
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Okay, so other benefits of routines, and this makes sense. This is almost like a given, but like it does like make me want to be more routine. Like you're more productive.
yeah, just because you're anticipating what happens next, and there's not that delay, right? Of what do I
Yeah.
do?
Yeah.
It's just like the choice is some way taken out of that.
Yeah.
Or the overwhelm from making a choice or being distracted
For sure.
is what I would, I guess, assume.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I love that like saying of like you want to own your day, not let it own you. And that's kind of the same thing. Like I don't know if you've seen, it's a time management like video I saw on YouTube at like the Dallas Chamber of Commerce, like some type of workshop that we did there. But it was basically this jar, and they filled it up like with sand, marbles, and like ping pong balls or something like that. And so it's to illustrate like the sand are the little things in your life, like checking your phone, like somebody calling you, the pings, the emails. The marbles are like kind of the main things you need to do. Like maybe it's like brushing your teeth or I don't know, having a meeting, something like that. And then your ping pong balls are the like big stuff, like your top, like maybe 3 to 10 things that you need to get done that day, that project, sessions with clients, whatever it is. And so the first time they fill the jar, they start with the sand, then the marbles, then the ping pong balls. And it's kind of obvious that like you don't get as much of your main stuff, your priority stuff done in the day. Then the second time they fill the jar, put in the ping pong balls first, then the marbles, then the sand. So, and that's the same as like creating a routine, right? Of like,
It forces prioritization.
right. So you're more productive. You have more time to relax during your day. If you are getting those things done, like you can actually chill out.
Yeah, no, I was just talking with another therapist at this networking dinner I went the other night, and she says that she just has a lot going on in her life, and is the type that always likes to do stuff.
Yeah.
And so she and I were talking about meditation and yoga and how she had fallen out of doing yoga, but she knows that she needs that, and mindfulness and meditation specifically to add that to her routine. And she says, I know, even though I resist it, let me tell you, when I take 5 minutes in the morning to do it, I get so much more done. She's like, it's hard for my brain to always wrap around that.
Yeah, that's her ping pong ball.
Yeah.
It's meditation.
Yeah. But she says I know it is helpful for me.
Right. Yeah, it can be such a paradox,
Yeah.
Of like you get more done if you sit still and don't do anything for 5 minutes. Like that just sounds weird.
Yeah. Slow down to speed up.
Yeah, for sure. Another benefit, just talking about like anxiety, depression, mental health issues, is if we are in an anxious state or just kind of live, naturally in and out of anxiety or something with mental health, like it's a way for you to reinstate control in your life. And I was talking with Laura Cohen, so my yoga instructor, teacher, And in our yoga session last Thursday, we were trying to create this idea of like home inside.
Oh,
And
sounds beautiful.
yeah,
Comforting.
right. And so it was for a totally different reason than, you know, creating routine. But I think it's like the same thing of like when our external world is chaotic and just kind of crazy, like we have this stability. We know what's going to happen throughout our day, what's next,
Yeah.
what's going on.
Yeah, absolutely. We all need comfort amongst the chaos.
Yeah.
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 Can I ask, like, how, I mean, is it more just sort of this concept that you are thinking for yourself, or as far as creating home inside?
Yeah, it's a concept. It's one that I've like felt before, like in yoga and meditation. And it's just like a perception, I guess. That I don't know, I've like really identified with and has been super helpful for me, like when during like chaotic times in my life. But yeah, I think like one like behavioral thing would be like having routine. And then there's like this emotional space of like maybe, I don't know, something like nostalgic or comfortable or calming, like feeling sensation. So yeah, and then like thoughts is just like knowing that like I'm okay inside internally. So yeah, I don't know if that answered your question,
Yeah,
but that's
no.
kind of how I like see it in my world.
Sure. Thanks for sharing.
And, you know, paradoxically, if you're more routine, you're more creative. So those creative types who do like the spontaneity and
Yeah, listen up.
and you can still have that too, right?
right.
But yeah, it allows like more cognitive functioning to be like dumped into creativity, like more space for that.
Sure. Yeah. So it just, when we're wired to seek out security and patterns, it's really just like we're adapting to science. And then when you're less overwhelmed, then you can allow like what truly needs to come out.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. For sure. Okay. And then you do things like better. So and that sounds really simple, but let me explain it.
I mean, you're more efficient. Like, you're just better. You're just a better person if you do it.
No, okay, so going back to like less cognitive functioning, like towards like the little things in life of like, okay, what do I do now? Am I putting my makeup on, or am I brushing my teeth, or am I eating breakfast? Like what's happening in the morning, right? Like I have this routine of like how I do things, and then like throughout my day, like I can be more on top of my work, or I have a routine of how I do work. Then like whenever I'm doing like something really challenging, I'm in a session with a client, like I'm much better because I'm like fully present. I'm there. I haven't had to use as much. If we're only allotted so much energy throughout a day or so much cognitive ability throughout a day, yeah, it just like helps you fine tune like where you need it versus like, yeah. So Steve Jobs used to, he would wear like a uniform to work every day, which he didn't need to. You know, he works for Apple. He's like president, CEO, whatever. And he would wear like his black turtleneck. I'm sure you've seen him in it. It's literally all he wears, and the black jeans. And he didn't have to dump energy into deciding what I'm going to wear today.
Yeah.
So,
Routines are all just about being efficient with your energy.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There we go.
Okay. So, yeah, and I think some of the natural, you know, disadvantages of having a routine of like, it can be boring, maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. People can feel controlled or bound to their routines.
Yeah.
And I think perhaps we should just invite in the concept of flexible routines.
For sure.
And knowing that you can change, right?
Yeah.
Now, you know, you might not want to be so routine with your food, right, that causes an issue, right? And allow
Right.
for some flexibility. So it's just
Definitely.
paying attention to yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And I don't know, this is just a side note, but I noticed like with myself and like clients who are entrepreneurs or own their own business of like I have this value of freedom and autonomy, yet I do miss the structure of like a typical work day or like having a boss kind of tell me what to do. Like I noticed like when I first started being on my own, like it did feel like really chaotic, and just noticing like observing clients like really struggle with setting aside time to like get their work done.
Yeah, no, I've heard that from some of my clients too. That's why I love the idea of co-working spaces or, partnering with somebody, some sort of accountability in the routines of,
Yeah.
okay, here's where, I'm going to find this within my week to dedicate consistently or more consistently.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's just interesting that like desire for freedom and autonomy, and how later on I noticed that it like becomes a struggle, too much of that in a way. So, so let's talk about ritual, like as opposed to routine.
Okay, yeah. I'd love to hear your differentiation between those two.
Yeah, so this is my definition. Maybe we should have looked something up beforehand.
Okay. This is JC Raiders. We'll go into Merriam-Webster's dictionary.
Yeah.
Here we go.
But okay, so routine being kind of schedule. Yeah, so that being like having something. I don't know what we've just been talking about is routine. So ritual is a little more ancient. Like we see it in cultures, we see it, amongst different cultures, we see it in religion. And it's just been around for so long. And the difference I see is that there's something like sacred and meaningful about like rituals in other cultures and religion that we're doing. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no.
Yeah, like
Absolutely.
prayer or thinking,
Song,
song, praise.
yoga is very much a ritual.
Yeah, mala, mantra. You have a mala and you go around the beads 128 times.
Yeah. Or if
Set
the Catholic,
rosaries.
it's the rosaries.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I would maybe the way that I would
Yeah,
think
maybe
about it for
add
me.
to it your
No. Routines are the logistical day to day. The ritual evokes more of a spirituality sort of connection, meaningful between
Yes.
even others as well. It doesn't just have to be between a higher power, but even amongst others.
Yeah,
to,
community.
like cultivate connection.
Right. And that's, so it's something that maybe has been happening for thousands of years, or other people are doing it. Like it makes you feel connected to something higher than yourself.
Yeah, which is so
Ultimately.
important for your mental health, is to know that we're not in it alone.
Yeah.
And there is a source of steadiness.
Right. Yeah. And like people have been doing it for so long, it's like popped up in different cultures without anybody being told, like, hey, do this thing. So obviously we're doing it like for a reason. And I know like I've felt a benefit from like being connected to something higher than myself. So within that, I guess what I'm trying to say is I think that you can maybe find something to connect to higher than yourself within your routines, right? Like a morning routine, an evening routine, or even like your daily routine, to find that sacredness within that, which is just a cool way to like add that to your daily.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, I hear a lot of that from people, and we know that spiritual well-being and connecting with some sense of purpose is really helpful for our mental health.
Yeah. So, okay, let's talk a little bit about, I don't know, should we talk about what our routines are?
All right.
Yeah.
JC, you start.
Yeah. So let's see. I definitely like have a routine with my phone and social media. So like my evening routine, I'll just start with that. My evening routine is to like get off devices and chill out at 10 o'clock. And then I go to bed at 11 o'clock. So
Now, do you have the self-control that you just get off your phone? Do you have alerts? What do you do?
Yeah, good. Yeah. So typically I don't have the self-control to have my phone next to me. But I am aware of the time. Like I am one of those people that like I have time in my brain. Some people don't. And so I like start charging my phone in another room like for the evening. And so, but before bed, I normally journal. I like kind of dump throughout my day, like what like I was struggling with, what I was thinking about, what was successful. So I have like a different. I love the 5-minute journal. So what are the good things that happened today and what could have been better?
Keep it simple.
Yeah. And you can find the 5-minute journal on Amazon. I think you can buy it there.
Yeah.
But
Or
it's
you
so
could buy
simple.
a dollar journal.
Yeah, it's so simple that I just
write your
know at this point like what the journal prompts are and I
Yeah.
can just write that down. It takes like 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes I haven't been doing this lately, but I'll try and like move my body a little bit, like with some yoga.
Stretching.
Yeah, or relax with meditation, yoga nidra. And then morning routine, try and drink a glass of water for me. And, you know, one, it like hydrate, like that feels good for my body. But two, it also like gives me time to wake up and something to do. Because I noticed for so long, so I wake up at 7 a.m. and I typically have an hour to where I can kind of do what I want to.
Ease into the day.
Yeah. And so I noticed for so long I would wake up with anxiety, like, and I would want to distract from that. So that would be getting on my phone. I would check my email. I would get on Instagram. I would start doing stuff. So that's why, yeah, setting my phone in another room is super helpful for me. And so, yes, I journal again in the morning. So 5-minute journal, the 3 journal prompts, and it's a gratitude list. 3 things I need to do for today. I'm losing the other one, but you can look it up. So that's kind of morning and night routine.
Yeah, I like how there is some consistency between both. too.
Yeah. It's like slow, mindful.
Protective of your boundaries.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. And then I feel like we have a weekly routine. Like as far as like, I mean, we have different work schedules, but we work out and it's pretty consistent that we, you know, and this is, you know, take it with a grain of salt. We lift weights 2 days a week. I do yoga once a week. Thursdays, Monday and Wednesdays, lifting weights. Thursdays, yoga. And Fridays, normally spin. And so for me, that's super helpful. Not what I'm doing, but having something to kind of let me know like where I'm at during the week. So, yeah.
Oh, okay. Kind of like passes time or marks the passage of time for you.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's just something about the routine of it. Like it feels very stable. I know
Yeah.
it's going to happen that day.
Yeah. Can I say that since, partnering with you in that, my boundaries around meetings or work has been
Yeah.
really helpful. Boundaries are something that I, can really be better at times
Yeah.
and struggle with at times. And that's been helpful.
Yeah.
So I'm
oh,
like,
that's
you want to meet up? Sorry, Monday mornings are spoken for.
yeah. Well, and I remember when we first started working out, like I had to kind of tell you like, hey, we have this time set aside. And so that's like totally changed for you.
Yeah.
Can you stop scheduling meetings on Fridays at our spin class? And now it happens and we can be flexible.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have seen that like change for you. Okay, what are your routines?
Okay, outside of our shared movement routine.
Our movement routine, yeah.
In the mornings, I realized I've gotten a little out of this lately. I'm not quite sure why, so I'm going to reflect on that. But typically, even before I get out of bed, I list 3 things I'm grateful for. And now have a new addition to my routine, my little lovely rescue pup, Luna.
She's so cute.
She's so cute, people. I could show you all the photos and videos. I'm trying to
We need to
restrain
post a
myself.
picture on
on
Instagram or
Everyday
somewhere.
Therapy podcast. Well,
Yeah.
it's therapeutic looking at a cute puppy, right?
For sure. That should be a weekly addition to our Instagram routine.
Yeah. Seriously. I have plenty of material. Anyways, so it's been an adjustment. I feel like I'm getting the hang of it now. Anyways, when I take her out, and this is what I love about animals, like, it can just provide a lot of perspective, but she's so happy to see me, and she like just puts a smile on my face. And so it's, it helps me think, okay, even though mornings aren't typically my favorite, there's, stuff to be grateful for, right? And I'm happy about. So I take care of her.
Lessons from Luna.
Yeah, she teaches me a lot. She also is very opposed to my phone too. Like, she'll try to push it away. So anyways, maybe we'll do an episode on her.
Yeah.
Outside of that, when she's taken care of, then I do meditation, and then some journaling. Coffee. Oh yes, always coffee. While I brew my coffee, though, I do drink a glass of water, and then also to try to do some more breathing at that time because I use a French press.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I'm forced to wait.
Right. Yeah. Was it a struggle for you? Because Luna's like 3 months old, like right whenever you added her.
Oh, for sure. I felt like I was postpartum anxiety, and I didn't even birth this puppy. No, and I became so consumed about making sure she was okay, and just so focused on her. I definitely was more stressed and anxious for the first couple of weeks.
Yeah.
So
Which I think is
moms out there, real moms. Oh, I just, give all the credit to you.
Yeah. Well, and I think part of that, like from observation outside looking in, like it did look like it really threw off your routine, threw off I just heard you say like boundaries in a way. And you kind of had to do that. Like it was necessary.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, because she was a puppy and she had needs. And I think, that is so helpful to point out that with routines, we get to be discerning on when we need to change them, and can it be temporary, and how can you help yourself if you need to change your routine to still take care of you.
Yeah.
So,
and transitions can get in the way of that, and having some self-compassion like during those times.
that things aren't going to be perfect.
Yeah. Especially like new things, like new job, maybe. But I wonder too, like if, you do have a routine and you go into it like with a new puppy or something new, if that could have helped the anxiety and maybe stress a little bit more too. I don't know.
If I would have planned to.
Yeah. And how would you have
probably.
known that? Hindsight's 2020, you know, but maybe anybody else who's listening to this, like before a big transition happens.
No, absolutely. I think that's so important.
Yeah.
And I will keep that in mind when I have kids.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, that's
Oh my gosh. Okay.
good. Okay,
Anyways,
let's,
we'll
we're
talk
getting
about
anxiety.
my anxiety about kids. All right, moving on. All right, to my daily routine. I will say once again, talk about Luna. She's been helpful because she's forced me to take a break during the day.
Yeah.
I used to I prefer to be efficient when possible, and I think there's benefits to that, but actually having to stop midday, leave the office, take her on a bit of a walk is just that grounding reset that I need to, once again, like go back and work more effectively.
Yeah.
So she's
can
forced
see
me to
that.
take a lunch break. Imagine that.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see how like adding somebody, like dogs need a routine, kids need a routine, like adding that to your life,
Yeah,
like it forces you to do it.
Yeah.
Ultimately too.
for sure. And then real quick, nightly routine, I could do better at. Absolutely. So I don't think I even want to share. Mine is so chaotic right now. It feels like there isn't a consistent bedtime. I do have a weighted blanket.
Yeah.
I have that.
Well,
to help
and
with
yeah, I
sleep,
think
but-
that's so important to share that. Yeah. Like it happens that like we even struggle with this, but what has been like the most helpful? Cause I know you and I know you've had like kind of this more ritualistic bedtime routine. Like what, in like those moments to where you feel like really centered and grounded, like what is that routine looked like?
Yeah.
What do you need to get back to,
I
Julian?
do. Oh, wow. All right. Just, working on my stuff on the podcast here. All right. It would be absolutely putting the phone down. I think social media, it's so easy to compare. And then I'm more so on social media for business purposes. And then sometimes it's really awesome. I get these creative ideas, but and I get excited about them, but then I stay up and I don't necessarily do much. I just think about it.
Okay.
So it's not very helpful.
Yeah, it seems like stimulating.
Yeah. So getting off the phone, and doing some yoga, and then ending the day in prayer for me, and drinking some tea is helpful.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, that sounds nice. Yeah. I could do better about my bedtime routine right now too. So you asked me whenever we were kind of thinking about doing this podcast of like, it'd be cool to talk about famous people's routines.
Yeah.
So
Everybody
I looked
wants
up,
to know what the famous people are doing.
yeah, what are famous, successful
Yeah.
people that, you will maybe
Aspire
like,
to.
yes, aspire to. So I looked them up and it was like kind of boring. So I wanted to share
Imagine
that.
Cool. Well, I guess there's only so much that you can do.
Yeah. But okay, some of the people that like jumped out to me was like Steve Jobs.
Oh, yes. Let's hear him.
So, the main thing is that he like has his uniform that he wears, and he asks himself every morning, if today were to be the last day of my life, would I want to do what I'm about to do today?
Whew,
Yeah. So it brings in a little bit of that, like, I don't know, like moral compass or like values of like mortality, I guess.
Yeah.
To like help you, like maybe keep doing what you're doing, or maybe you need to change it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Intentionality in a really grand sense there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know we both use the Daniel Laporte Desire Map Planner journal,
Yeah.
and that has a good way of infusing that. Maybe not so heavy of a question, but it is very much having you think about, okay, why you're doing the things you are.
Yeah.
So.
Absolutely. Yes, I love the Desire Map Planner. And that's like part of my weekly routine is to like sit and write down. I have it all on my phone. I don't need to do it, but it's just very like cathartic for me to like write it out. Okay, but it's not about me anymore. So Oprah Winfrey starts her morning with 20 minutes of meditation, then hits the treadmill to get her heart pumping. She swears that at least 15 minutes of exercise improves her productivity and boosts her energy level throughout the day.
Yeah, and this is good to know too, just knowing yourself. If you have a tendency to be a little bit more lethargic in the morning, that it would be good to do, whether it's energizing breath work or movement.
Yeah,
But
go
if
on a
you
walk.
wake up tending to be more anxious, perhaps our suggestion for your routine is that there is more calming and grounding.
Yeah,
So
relaxation.
anyways, I just put that out there because I'm attuned to people, taking on exercise routines because that's what people say they should be doing.
Right,
So,
right. Yeah. And so, yeah, it's all individualized, like what's best for you. And you have to try things out to see like
Yeah.
what fits. So, and then another one. So Tim Ferriss,
Oh.
he does a podcast and he basically interviews like successful people, like
Yeah.
their top performers, like top A-list celebrities. They are the CEOs of the world. Like he wants to know their routine, their daily, morning, evening, like all the stuff we're talking about.
Yeah. And I feel like he's really into life hacking.
Yes.
And so he may be more extreme and intense. We've talked about that before. So I am so curious. What does he do?
so he keeps it simple.
Oh, no.
Which is interesting.
No.
Yeah.
You're lying.
Because I feel like whenever I listen to his
Yeah.
podcast, it's like that wellness overload of like, oh my gosh, I'm not
Good
journaling enough. I'm not exercising enough. I'm not, routine enough. I'm not doing all the things these people are doing.
So he's not doing like crazy ice baths or drinking some insane mixtures?
Well, okay, so he keeps it simple. He does
Okay.
like 3 things in the morning.
Okay.
He makes his bed.
Oh, yes. Yes, I forgot that from my routine. Continue.
Yeah. Well, and I there's a commencement speech that this guy does, and I should probably know this, but it's just off the top of my head, off the cuff here, that like making your bed, it's like one thing that you do in the morning that you've like done. You can like kind of mark off your mental to-do list, like I've done something.
It's so
It's
adult-like.
Yeah. So you can kind of spiral in that, like
Yeah. Look at
getting
me.
stuff done. Yes. Okay. So he
But
makes his
positive
bed.
reinforcement. Continue.
He meditates and he hangs upside down. So that's the only like weird
Oh,
one, which
that is
I'm
a Tim
sure.
Ferriss move.
Yeah, yeah, it's like something to do with energy or blood flow or who knows.
Right.
You'll have to listen to more of his
Yeah.
stuff. But he is a great resource. So podcast, Tim Ferriss podcast. He's written a couple books, which we've read, Tools of Titans, or
I love that one.
yeah, thumb through it. We haven't read the whole thing, and Tribe of Mentors. So
And 4-Hour Work Week and 4-Hour Body, which I'm a little, I haven't read that. So
yeah, I haven't either. Yeah. And another just resource while we're on it, it would be a book called Atomic Habits. It's a New York Times bestseller by James Clear. So he talks about the habits that we create, which habits, routines, kind of similar in that
Sure.
way. Yeah.
I'm curious off the cuff, does that book talk about how long it takes to build those habits?
I'm not sure if that was addressed in the book, but I know, like, I have heard it takes like 90 days to create a habit. So I don't know. Have you heard anything different?
Yeah. Well, I thought that was myth busted recently with some more recent research that it might even take longer than 90, but
Okay, I can
I'm not
see that.
sure. So maybe we
Yeah.
need to do our homework, look it up, and add to the show notes if we find something different.
I know. I mean, just like in essence, we can say that it takes a while to
yes,
create a habit. So keep working on it. Some tips for setting routines.
Yes. Take notes.
Yes. So can you share the idea behind writing down your goals?
Yeah, so there's a level of accountability if you place where you write down the goals in a visible place. But only 3% of the population actually does this consistently. And there's about 46% more success rate just by writing it down. Because once again, like our brain seeks patterns and congruency. So when you see that, you are compelled to act on it in a way that's in alignment with what you wrote more
Okay.
often than not.
Yes. So same thing with routines. Write down these routines. So maybe start off small and start with a morning routine and write down 3 to 5 things.
Yes.
And some, maybe some ideas are ones that we've already talked about. Drinking a glass of water, washing your face, going on a walk, meditation, journaling. Kind of dumping your brain out. Whatever that is. Gratitude list. Those are kind of the main things. Have an accountability partner. I know that's really worked for us. Like we will kind of check in maybe on a monthly, every 2-month basis on our goals and routines. So I know that's really held me accountable and really been important to me. But yeah, those are kind of the main tips I would say. It's like pretty simple.
Yeah.
Yeah. But try it out. Do it for 90 days or a month and see what happens.
Yeah. Enlist support and let us know how it goes
Check
for
out
you.
some of the resources we talked about. Yeah, the 5-minute journal is great, and everything we listed earlier.
Yeah, and we hope that, this helps bring a little bit more calm and predictability in your life that is necessary. So,
Yes. Lastly, I want to end with a quote by Salin Boyles from WebMD. Researchers from the University of Pittsburgh School of Medicine report that bipolar patients, so mental health issues, fared better when their treatment stressed the importance of establishing daily routines for things like sleeping and eating. Social rhythm therapy, as it has been dubbed by researchers, is based on the idea that irregular sleeping habits and those associated with other daily activities can trigger manic episodes by disturbing the body's sleep-wake circadian system clock. So, bipolar or not, that sounds like something worth avoiding and like sticking to a routine. So, overall, give it a try.
Cool. All right. Till next time.
Yeah. Thank you so much for listening to the Everyday Therapy Podcast. Don't forget to rate and review us on iTunes and share with your friends. It really helps us reach more people.
We might only record once a week, but we're with you every day.